Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Umineko! We're back! It's been so long, but we're back.
Yay.
And because it's been so long, I'm just gonna start right in. And because it's been so long, I forgot where we left off. What happened? Okay, yeah, the phone call being like, hey, don't die. Alright. Goda and the rest of the men quickly descended to the first floor, closed the shutters, and secured the sturdy locks on the doors. However, just as Kraus had worried, there was nothing that could be done about the beautiful wide-open window in the first floor lounge. If someone broke that, it would be easy to get inside. It wouldn't be hard for someone like Hinso, who hadn't hesitated of committing murder, to invade the first floor. It's likely that grandfather and his followers will be armed. Locking ourselves in our room is our best bet, and moreover, our only method of forming a barricade. It's painful that we have no choice but to hold up in a sealed room, but if our enemies are carrying guns, then that's the only method we had left to us.
I have heard that the Master has a collection of working guns. That's right, guns. That was a gun. If so, it must have been a horribly powerful gun. We can't contend with that at all.
It takes a lot of force to smash someone's head open, right? So it might be a magnum bullet or something like that. I'd probably go through a flimsy door like it was nothing. Battler, you're not helping the situation. If so, then that's even more of a reason to hold out in our room. Let's set a bed in place and block the window too. If we do that much, then no matter how many guns they've got, they shouldn't be able to raid us. All you can do is this passive one-sided defense. Damn it, dealing a finishing blow to Dad and even capturing Kirie. Okay, that's gonna cost you, you damn geezer.
Impossible. There's no way we can compete with them. Besides, it's not just the Master, he has his underlings too. There might even be more of them. Just what are they?
Battler was filled to the brim with the urge to get revenge for Rudolph. And to rush out of here to save Kirie. But just by looking how terrified Goda was, there was no doubt in him that this would be reckless. Gotta be hard on you too, right, Nanaki? Yeah, gotta stay pulled up here. Damn. Of course I'm torn up about it too. It's not like I can remain calm with both my parents murdered. But specifically because of that, I have to remain calm. Do you think our dead parents would want us to die in vain? There's no way they would. They'd want for at least their children to escape. So I will survive. And I'll report this to the police and uncover everything. I'll leave my enemies to the courts. That is my revenge. There's no way our parents would want us to die taking revenge for them. Right? You're right. It's just as you say. Damn it, you old bastard. What's this about a ceremony? If we're supposed to be sacrificed for something like that, then we'll escape no matter what it takes, ruining this precious ritual of yours. That's right. Besides, you still have Kirie-san, Battler-kun, so stop bitching. And I still have Shannon. Anyway, weird correlate, whatever. Anyway, let's be cautious and wait for our chance. Any careless actions on our part might just end up causing harm to those who have been captured. Hostages, huh? But grandfather captured them so he could use them as sacrifices, right? We don't go and save them, then are we just waiting for them to get killed? We don't even know where the dungeon they're being held in is! Shannon and Kanekun didn't know about it, and of course Goda-san and Kumasama-san didn't know either! The possibility that they're in a secret location that only grandfather knows of is incredibly high! Under these circumstances, aimlessly wandering about would be practically suicidal! Understand. But still, damn it, are you saying the only thing we can do is stay confined here until something happens?
Battler-sama, I understand how you feel, but let's put safety first. From what Kraus-sama said, they seem to be in a fairly old cell. And they may be able to break the bars somehow. The wise choice of action now is to believe in them and wait.
Grandfather has a number of subordinates and they're all armed, correct?
Yes, he does. And they're probably all armed.
Goda had been able to say that Kinzo had comrades with him. But he hadn't been able to mention that they were mostly young women like witches who had used strange magic to murder. Why can't he just say, why can't he say, yeah, they're all young women? Why can't he at least say that? Sexism? Is that it? If he had said that, it would only have it would only have cast doubt on his sanity. No, not only that, he himself still couldn't understand what he had seen and was doubting his own sanity. But regardless of sex or appearance, regardless of whether it was done with magic or a gun, the fact that those girls had followed Kenzo's orders and killed 6 people in an instant was an unshakable truth. If that group came to attack the guest house as well, what would happen? Just closing the doors and windows like this was surely meaningless. Goda and Kumasawa. The only thing left for those two who had witnessed that massacre in the dining hall was to cradle their heads without knowing how to interpret what they had seen.
Kumasawa-san, are you okay? Want some tea? Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm sorry, but it may have left my thoughts for a little while.
Maria tried to be nice, but it seemed that Kumasawa still hadn't been able to clear away her confusion. Maria, thanks for being so considerate. Let's let Kumasawa-san rest for now. Jessica was also worried about the shock those two must have received after witnessing such a tragedy. But her wildest dreams couldn't even come close to the unbelievable scene Kumasawa had witnessed. Nevertheless, with her mother murdered and her father captured, it wasn't as though Jessica could stay calm either. She sealed her anxiety and sadness using her anger towards Kinzo, and walked irritatedly around the room. Kumasawa-san? Is Mom really dead?
Yes. I've never seen such a horrible way to die before.
Okay, probably not the best thing to say to a grieving daughter, but whatever. Is it possible that she's still alive?
I don't think she's in the right frame of mind after watching everyone die.
And that if we fix her up, we could save her? Oh, what's Kumasawa about to say about this?
It's not possible for a person to have something like that done to their head and live.
Yeah, you're right. There's no need for first aid. Once your head's smashed, usually... When Goda had come flying into the guest house, he had, overcome with agitation, told about the massacre in the dining hall without concealing anything. Oh my god! Except for the part about witches and magic, which they themselves still couldn't believe. In other words, he hadn't even sugarcoated the cold-blooded way in which Natsui and the others had died. Jesus, Goda! It was too late now, but Kumasawa regretted the fact that they'd obviously said too much. However, while lightly shaking her head and with a slightly painful laugh, Jessica spoke. Actually, thanks to what you told us, I was able to stay level-headed. If you'd avoided mentioning the part about her head being smashed, I would have thought she still might be alive. Then I would have run off towards the mansion, met grandfather, and I might have gotten killed. That sliver of hope could have been fatal in the end. So I'm grateful.
Really sorry. I'm so sorry we didn't choose our words more carefully.
Don't worry about that now. There's nothing we can do for Mom, but Dad's still alive. Kanekun and Shannon and Aunt Kirie and Dr. Nanjo, too. Hell yeah, remembering my boy.
No honorific for Shannon?
They're close like that.
Wait. Yeah,
They've
but
experimented before.
yeah, roll that back. Roll that back.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, okay, but like the honorific for Canon, but not Shannon.
Yeah, she and Shannon have
Yeah.
experimented before. They don't need the honorific.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to save them somehow, so we shouldn't do anything unnecessary that might make things worse for them. The most helpful thing we can do right now might be to wait by the phone. They might receive a phone call asking them to create a diversion while the others escaped. Or, the others might discover their location and call for rescue. Jessica understood that in order to act promptly when that time came, the only thing they could do for the time being was to wait in this room. Once they had finished inspecting the downstairs area and locking up, George, Battler, and Goda returned. Each was holding various objects. George had things like drinks, canned food, crackers, and other types of snacks he had found in the lounge and the storage room, as well as a first aid kit. They were all consumables that would be essential during a siege. I thought he Goda had a large folding ladder and carpentry tools. I thought he was about to say he had a large folding chair. Goda was getting ready to fucking chill. Those were to seal the door from the inside, just in case. If it came to it, the ladder was for escaping out the window. Butler had brought up objects that could be used as edged weapons or poles. In addition to the obvious kitchen knife,
so
there was a That's my boy right there, ready to kick ass. There was a disassembled table leg that could be used as a club. Battler's clearly played Project Zomboid before. And a pole roughly the size of a person, which he'd apparently made by taking apart a hat stand. Even though the pole had no point, it could surely be used like a spear. Whoa, what was that?
His smirk.
He did like a
His
quick
devious
little
smirk.
let his bloodlust out a bit. There's a good chance that their enemies had guns, so it was dubious whether these would be of any use. But it was still better than not having them, and if having these could give them at least a little peace of mind, then they'd be useful for their calming effect. Then, the bed and sofa were placed up against the door, barricading it. They didn't go so far as to seal it up with nails. There was still a chance that Kraus and the others would escape and come to meet up with them. They had apparently set up a barricade at the top of the stairs as well. It had been set up in a way that would create a racket, so it would serve as a warning alarm as well. That had apparently been Battler's idea. That's my fucking boy right there. For that reason, they turned the TV off. Kendrick reference? This way, if the first floor window were to be broken, they would hear. We're just gonna move past that. Once the switch had been turned, all that was left was an eerie silence. So... the sound of violent wind and rain. Were they going to have to spend the whole night being crushed by such suspense? The boat would come tomorrow morning. However, judging by the weather report, most of tomorrow was going to be covered in the typhoon, and the boat probably wouldn't come. The typhoon was set to pass by in the morning of the day after tomorrow. In other words, the boat would be arriving the morning after next. The morning of October 6th. And right now, it was late at night on October 4th. They had to spend more than 30 hours on this island, with Kinzo turned cold-blooded murderer and his weird companions prowling about. Even with the shutters closed, there would definitely be a little bit of light seeping out. It might let the enemy know that they were hiding here. Butler suggested that it might be best to turn off the lights, but they had already been overwhelmed by a ghastly feeling just from turning the TV off. There wasn't anyone who directly challenged the proposal, but then again, there wasn't a single other person who agreed with it. Battler is fucking ready. Like, are we about to find out that Balor's gotten his memories back from, like, the other games? Like, he's, like, planning shit.
I just thought of something completely off topic. Like, off topic to the current episode, or, like, the current, what's happening right now. I wonder if Natsuhi's headaches are, could be weather-induced, or, like, weather-worsened.
Oh,
That is a thing, right? Yeah, I remember hearing about
Yeah,
that. I just don't know too much about it.
yeah. I know two people
Hmm.
who have it like that.
All I know is that I understand her because almost at all hours of the day, someone's blasting music, and I can't hear the music, but I can feel the bass in such a way that makes my head want to explode. It's awful. And recently, one of my neighbors, I don't know where, got a drum set.
Oh,
And I
wow.
could just hear them going crazy on it randomly. They're pretty good. It's still annoying, but they're pretty good.
It's kind of funny.
Anyway, go ahead.
We can't watch TV.
Yeah, sorry, but you have to bear with it. We can't just let the sound of the enemy breaking in slip by.
Boring.
Even though she had been told of her mother's death, Maria alone didn't feel an approaching sense of danger. She just seemed to be upset that the TV had been turned off. Even though she's in such a bizarre situation, can she not share in our sense of danger? Is it because she's so young? To Battler, even this faintly unsettling feeling from such a young girl made him sense that there was something very eerie about Maria. Like she has crossed over to the dark side, so to speak.
That's sad. We've already done all we can. Do you think you'll be able to do anything about the bars? Unfortunately, they're tougher than expected. I don't know when these were made, but there's no problem with their lifetime guarantee. These truly were built rather well.
Kirie chuckled softly. They had no moves they could make, but she had calmed just a little. This place is just like the capture pile of a chess game. So are there no remaining moves left to us?
Not yet. It's still too early to give up. If we stop thinking, we might as well stop breathing, right? Exactly. Chess pieces in the capture pile may serve no purpose, but in shogi they can be quite significant. Just one captured pawn should be able to put pressure on the opponent.
I see. I only play chess, but still, there's nothing that can be done about these bars.
For us, maybe. God, if we could figure out where this is and contact Goda-san, he might be able to come and save us.
Only Goda, though.
Yeah.
None of the others will be able to help. I see. But that would mean
Well, he
putting
might have the
Goda-san in
keys.
danger. Oh, they don't like. Hey, Kinzo. So like this keyring you give to all the servants. Why is there this like very old rusted key on it? Don't worry about it.
Well, he might be able to find it in the server. He might be able to find it. But I don't. It's a little weird considering Kumasawa has worked there for much longer, and she would probably know. She, if any, out of anyone, would probably know where the key is.
Yeah, with the fucking
But I don't know if they're
dungeon.
thinking about that.
Hey, hey, Kinzo, what's with this key that has the label for the dungeons on it? Don't worry about it. You won't need to use it. Okay. And if that happens, I would also be worried about the children of the guest house, alone without a full-grown adult male. The fuck is the fucking George chopped liver? Like in even in like the older terms of like what an adult like the age of adulthood in Japan, like, he's still like 3 years above that.
Mhm. We're afraid of risk. It's all right to bide your time until the price starts to go up. However, if you're too afraid to cut your losses, you might end up with just a scrap of paper. Though in this case, that represents our lives. And our dignity as parents, right? After talking big like that during the telephone call, telling them that they should behave because we'll manage something on our own. But we can't just start asking for help right away.
Yeah, because that's what's important right now. Your honor. What the fuck are you on about, dude?
That would be very uncool. By this point, I've long since thrown out such useless pride. Why don't we put our heads together? Where is this? Is it really underneath the dining hall? Or else, is it a different place, separate from the mansion?
Kraus, Kraus, Kirie, and Nanjo began to discuss this further. Help. Help, please. This is such a funny visual. Hold on. Okay. Sorry, I just had to. I had to take a screenshot of that. That's such a funny visual. Cannon was squatting by the bar, silently trying to sense anyone's presence. Just as he had been ordered.
Oh, I love this part. It's so cute.
She and Glim came both in, and they both squatted down together.
Do you sense anyone? Yes. They haven't focused their attention in this direction, but there's someone relatively close by. Is it human? I think it's the goats. Their breathing is rather noisy.
Cannon's ability to sense the presence of others was several levels above that of a human. He said that their breathing was noisy, but Kraus and the rest couldn't even pick up the slightest hint of it. Therefore, if he had obediently reported it, they would have merely doubted Cannon's ears.
They got us, didn't they?
You're like, this part's really cute, and so far it looks like they're, like, coming to terms with their mortality.
Yeah. It's rare. To think that they captured us without killing us. This time, Beatrice-sama didn't make an appearance.
They remember each iteration?
And the master left to study. I don't have a clue what's going on.
Why do they get to remember shit, but Battler doesn't?
I know. Whatever happens or changes, it's all for that witch's fickle entertainment. In the end, nothing will change. I wonder if we'll be able to go to the Golden Land this time. Who knows? We have a high rate of losing. Come to think of it, it's very rare for us to survive the first twilight together. I get the feeling that it's incredibly unusual for us to be able to talk together like this, even though the ceremony has already begun. That may be, but even that's just for the witch's entertainment, I'll bet. Can't think of it as anything other than her letting us live just a little longer to ridicule us, since we usually drop out right in the beginning. I wonder if we'll be unable to reach the Golden Land again. I'm sure we won't make it there. If we hold on to any foolish hope, we'll get taken advantage of again. That's right. Last time you got taken advantage of, didn't you? I'm an idiot.
Cannon made a sour look and turned his head. Cannon laughed softly and apologetically leaned toward his shoulder.
But I'm glad my lady is safe. She's only escaped from the first twilight. She might just be waiting for an even crueler death later on. What about you, Nason? Aren't you glad George-sama's safe? It'd be nice if you two could reach the Golden Land together.
He can die for all I care.
Thank you. I wish the same for you and Milady as well.
Oh!
I wasn't... I wasn't hoping for anything like that. It's just as you say. The witches only having fun dangling prizes in front of people and watching them vainly try to get them. I love this sprite.
Oh!
I'm sure no one will be able to go to the Golden Land if I wish to reach the Golden Land with Milady. And that person will find it funny and will certainly never let us reach that place. I'm having a sip of water.
Hell yeah.
You're right. Beatrice-sama is thinking about which order of sacrifices will be the most interesting. The whole thing about them being chosen at random is just a blatant lie. That swindling witch. All that about having any wish you want granted in the Golden Land is probably just a lie, too. That's not true. The Golden Land is a wonderful place. Have you been there? Only for a little bit. Though, even that was probably just a joke of Beatrice-sama's. What's it like there? Well, it's a wonderful place. I can't really explain it well. It's like a world from a pleasant dream. A paradise-like place with roses blooming all over and beautiful butterflies dancing about. Or something like that.
Very specific, Canon. Have you been thinking about that a lot?
It's not a place with a tangible image like that. It's really like the inside of a dream. When you're there, it's very gentle, very peaceful. And you're allowed to sleep as long as you want. Like when you wake up early on a day off, lie on a futon. Sunlight comes in through the cracks in the curtains, and you think you'll have to wake up soon, but then you realize it's your day off, and you can go back to sleep. It's a place where you can feel like that. I think it'd be wasted on me. Waking up on accident, even though it's your day off, is something only you would do, Nei-san. So... Well, when I was there, it was very satisfying and very calm. When I returned to this world, even though I'd just been there a second ago, I couldn't remember it well. It's like when you can't remember a dream you were just having. But I still remember that it was a very calm and quiet world. That's it. The heck, that Golden Land she's always bragging about isn't anything great at all. I thought it was a place where all your wishes come true.
That place sounds like shit.
That's right. It's a place where all your wishes will be granted. Well, maybe that's not quite it. It might be better to say it's a place where you won't wish for anything. For example, Kanon-kun, if you're a cold and wish you had a jacket, you'd be happy to get one. To be given one, but if you were in a warm room to begin with, there wouldn't even be a reason to want a jacket, right? That's what the Golden Land is like. There's no need to even wish for most wishes. It's a world where everything is calm.
Sounds boring.
You could even say it's a place that transcends the concept of having your wishes granted will bring happiness. A world released from everything. Sounds somewhat like a religious world. And there, everything is equal. Anything that can think is equal. There are no humans, no furniture, nor witches. There, I was equal to everyone.
You're equal here to whatever.
There's no longer any need to feel ashamed that I was furniture. It was honestly a happy world where all humans, and even witches, were equal. I can't really remember it well, but I have the feeling that when I was there, I was equal to even to Beatrice-sama, and we were good friends. If that witch is there, it can't be much of a paradise.
That's my boy right there.
So if you want to go to that, if you want to go to that Golden Land with George Sama, how strange. The Golden Land is a utopia where you can be pleased with everything, right? Wouldn't you be content even if George Sama wasn't there?
Get her ass.
The Golden Land is very calm, peaceful, and everything is equal. But actually, happiness alone is left out. It isn't a happy world. Of course, just by being peaceful, calm, and equal, it's an incredibly happy world.
Jesus fucking Christ. There's a tree, like right above my roof, and sometimes fruits fall off of it.
Oh, yeah,
And it gives me a heart attack. Fucking shit! At least I assume it's fruits, but they feel like they've been getting louder.
Maybe they're just getting bigger.
Yeah, maybe it's the neighbors throwing shit at my roof. Dude, I'd be so pissed.
But I guess you could say that it's a world of zero, where you're released from all negative worries. The human world's filled with negatives, so of course a zero world is incredibly happy. But it's still zero. What a luxurious problem to have. Something like this. When you're nodding off on your quiet holiday morning, if the person you love the most is next to you and holding your hand, then it can become an even greater, more wonderful happiness. Something like that. Sorry, your son is too dumb to be any good at analogies.
Are you hearing any of these?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying them.
Oh, God.
She loves nothing.
No, I'm saying, are you hearing the thumps of shit slamming on my ceiling?
No, I'm not hearing that at all. I wish I could hear it.
Oh my God, it's infuriating. But so far, this is mainly because I don't trust Beatrice. I don't think the Golden Land's a great place. It feels very much like a world that one of the non-neutral paths would take you to in Shin Megami Tensei.
Okay.
That means nothing to you, I know. But basically in Shin Megami Tensei, I don't know if this is a hot take in the SMT community. But anything but the neutral path kind of just makes the world shit. Just kind of makes the world ass.
In other words, to you, the greatest happiness would be reaching that world together with George Sama. Yes. And surely for you, it would be reaching that world together with my lady. You'll be released from our worries in a fair world. It's like some kind of strange religion. A more worldly minded. I imagined a world where we would be given some magic medicine, and we could be reborn as humans or something more like that.
Trans allegory?
I'm so glad you caught it.
Dude, of course I got it! Taking medicine to feel more like a human? Oh my God! That's what I call my HRT, like...
Hugo, you'll understand. If Beatrice-sama really is a fickle person, then surely someday she'll let you get a glimpse of it too. If so, then you'll be able to understand my analogy. Well, I'm not holding my breath. At any rate, it seems like game over for us this time already.
Game over.
I'll hope for another chance.
Jigsaw comes in.
You're right. If we cling to any overambitious hopes, Beatrice-sama will take advantage of us. It might be best to just stop thinking and let fate take care of us. We can just be simple chess pieces. No matter what we think or don't think, we can't escape from the witch's chessboard. Our role is now just to wait and see how we'll be tortured to death. For us, the dream of the Golden Land is too empty. You're right. Sorry.
Cannon shrugged his shoulders, then told Shannon to leave him alone because she was in the way of it, dude. Distancing himself from her. Realizing her thoughtlessness in bringing up such an inappropriate topic and instead hurting Cannon, Shannon bit her lower lip and stared at the ground. Shannon wouldn't bother him anymore. She went off and crouched down in a corner by herself. At that moment, Cannon perked up. It was like the ears of a cat when it reacts to a strange sound.
What's wrong? Shh. Crow-sama, someone's coming. What?
They ended their conversation and strained their ears. For a while, they couldn't hear anything. But eventually, they were able to hear the shuffling sounds of a large group of people walking.
So they've come. Time to pay the piper, or perhaps this is her first and last chance.
I shall talk to Kenzo-san. I will try to somehow find out where this place is.
We're counting on you.
During the last phone call, Kirie had asked what the time over at the guest house was. By doing that, Kirie had learned that it was the same as her watch, and she had learned that their watches hadn't been set back. It wasn't just the clocks on the walls in the guest house. Several people's watches, including George's and Goda's, had matched. If that was the case, then it had only been a few minutes between the time of the massacre in the dining hall and the time they had been transported to the dungeon. Not enough time had passed for them to be knocked out and carried away. Then were those really pitfalls, meaning that this was the area directly under the dining hall? All that they could do was pray that Nanjo could find out where this was.
They're coming. There's probably 4 people. The master, and 3 of those who appeared in the dining hall.
Damn, you're good.
That's enough. You come back here as well. We'll deal with the rest. Shannon-chan, sorry, but can I have you sit by the phone? Hide it with your skirt. Yes.
The shuffling came close, and there was the sound of a large door being opened in the hallway. The light they were apparently carrying illuminated the hall, stroking the walls with sharp, razor-like shadows. And then, the light from the lantern they held illuminated the prisoners through the bars. The bar's sharp shadows divided them up lengthwise. There were 4 silhouettes. It was Kenzo, Ronove, Virgilia, and Gop. Silence, everyone. Please welcome the head of the Ushinomiya family, Lord Goldsmith.
Goldsmith? It's father's pen name. It seems he always signs with it when writing those bizarre grimoires.
What a fucking loser.
Ginzo made English style. Shouldn't that be Gold Warehouse?
Get his ass.
He hates it. Oh, great. What more is a warehouse than a place to keep things in? However, I give birth to gold and use my craftsmanship to further increase its worth.
Emperor Kinzo?
Kinzo birthing? It's just no pregnancy, just birthing. Don't you think Smith is much more fitting? True enough. I apologize for butting in.
Man, the lightness of the Japanese is fucking insane. I'm so sorry.
I think she just doesn't want to make an issue.
I'd make an issue. But what is going on?
Well, she's kind of like in a dungeon, and he kind of killed a bunch of people.
Yeah, I'd still make an issue. I know what I'm about.
Yeah, you like to live and die by
The sword.
whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's not the sword, it's the tongue, I guess.
Where in the world is this?
Oh, my friend, can't you remember? True, you may have never entered the prison, but you should remember walking through this corridor.
Okay, you had to have heard that one. That was fucking loud.
No.
Jesus Christ. Huh. Huh? You don't mean.
Do you have an idea?
But, well, it's unthinkable. Firstly, we fell through a pitfall and were locked up in here after only a few minutes. Not only is the distance to Grace, that's physically impossible. Are they in fucking Alcatraz? That's where mine went. For a human, right?
Father, is this the mansion? To think that the mansion had a basement like this. Crows. Wasn't there a place whose existence you all whispered of and which you followed after me several times trying to find?
Oh.
This is that place. No, to be correct, this is its basement.
The place be the basement. Oh, Kuadorian! A splendid observation. This is indeed the basement of Kuadorian.
Kuadorian, don't you mean Father's rumored hidden mansion? It really exists?
I hate the fact that the rumor of the mansion where he kept his mistress has a dungeon in it. I hate that.
Don't worry, it gets worse.
Oh boy!
Just wait.
Oh no.
This mansion was constructed for the sole use of my beloved witch, Beatrice. It's truly a shame that I cannot guide you to the above-ground sections, as it is a beautiful and elegant mansion. How lovely, just two of them alone in a mansion with a prison like this. I guess Father's tastes are a bit more than I can stomach.
No, I don't believe that for a second, Kitty.
Yeah. Kitty-san, perhaps it would be wiser to refrain from such rude comments.
Eat my dick, Virgilia. Fuck this guy.
I can't remember what voice I was giving her. I'm kind of just giving them voices at random now. There's too many characters.
But I agree. The mansion I was given had this kind of dungeon in it. That'd shake me out even a century-long love. I'd take anything of value and run. Damn, Gop, you're not into this type? Alright. Sorry, I got just distracted by her sprite. Oh my, so you don't have an interest in this kind of thing. And here I was thinking you went head over heels for it. Of course I go head over heels. Like if I get a... on the internet forever. Like if I get a collar or something for a birthday present. But only if he's hot. Good for her.
I wonder what she considers hot. Like, she says that and we just have no idea what her type is.
That is true.
At
It
least
could be the...
I don't know if I remember. It's just interesting to me. I can imagine anything. Silence. Perhaps you could use a gag more than a collar right now.
Oh, you have an interest in that too? You sure are picky, Leah.
Don't just go around shortening people's names on your own.
That's what she has a problem with.
Enough, you noisy women. Are you telling me you'd like to be locked up in the same cell?
Did they... Ronobe was also riffing with them. Does that include Ronobe?
Yes. Yes. I apologize, Master. This whole body of mine would not be able to stand such a cold prison.
Vegeta quickly apologized, but Gup and Ronobe merely laughed together. Oh my god, it did include Ronobe. It's like they thought that they alone couldn't be imprisoned. Or else that even if someone tried to imprison them, it would be pointless.
A prison is a place from which the captured cannot escape. That implies a strong will and love to not let them go for a lifetime.
Alright. I'm not even gonna...
It's not even worth speaking of love to a woman you could give up on if she ran away.
Oh god.
A woman who makes you so insane that you don't want to let her escape, to the point of binding her in chains.
I cannot believe Kinzo's a fucking yandere.
Because she was worthy of that, she was in love with sacrificing my life for.
Put this guy on yandere.
I will not ask you to understand. Well,
No.
wouldn't that be more about killing for the person you're in love with?
What the hell is he doing?
This is pretty different from typical definition, but I guess yeah, that would fit.
Like,
Also,
no one
like
can
considering the yeah, I guess since the word yanderu, it is like I think it might be like I think I might have heard it's like it refers to mentally ill people. Like usually meaning like sick.
why am I not
So,
surprised?
you know, I guess
that
the
you know
mental illness
the-
component is a big part of that.
Why am I not surprised that you know the etymology of the word yandere?
You know me.
No one can bind me. I will not be bound. I don't want to be loved. I want to love. Hot. Sorry. I feel the same as Goldsmith. That's why I understand the madness of your love.
The madness are two sides of the same coin, or so they say. How bothersome.
Who says that?
But learning where we are so easily was a big step. I'll ask for the details later, but it seems you know about this place. Right, Dr. Nanjo?
Yes. Through that hallway is the underground passage between Kuadorian. And if we go straight down it will become a long tunnel. If we stay on that, we should be able to return to the mountain. Saying this all in front of Kinzo.
Then if we could just do something about these bars, we could go home. Father, what are you planning to do with us? As I have already declared, you will become sacrifices for the later twilights. There are conveniently 5 people here. Exactly enough hostages for the 5 gougings. You see, now it's time for us to pay the piper. Why does he keep saying that?
I don't know.
Eventually. That's not why I've come to visit you this time, so relax. Besides, I believe I've said it already. If one of my grandchildren is deemed suitable to inherit everything from me, then the ceremony will be called off. In other words, your lives will be spared.
What are you planning to do to the children? Have you ever read the book The Playground by Aaron Beauregard?
I shall give them a test. A test to see if they are suitable to be the successor or not. If even one of them can surprise me, I'll call the ceremony off. And if there isn't anyone suitable, what are you planning on doing with the children? There's no need to worry about that. After all, you all will be sacrificed first. How could anything that happens after that concern you? Entrust your fates to your own children. Your children, the embodiment of what you've born, taught, and raised. They should be the most suitable ones for you to entrust with your fate. Don't look so worried, Kraus. Believe in the daughter that you brag is worth 10 billion yen. Exactly. Children are the embodiment of their parents.
I'm waiting. I'm
It's
waiting.
fitting that we put our fates in their hands.
I'm waiting for Kitty to have the realization that Valor is the culmination of Sumu. And Rudolph, I'm like waiting for her to be like, oh, well, I'm fucked. Like, she thinks so little of Osumu that she's just assuming Battler is just gonna fail immediately.
That applies even to you, Father, right?
Damn, get his ass!
This girl has guts. What a waste on Rudolph.
Son, we must not aggravate him too much.
I agree. Let's bear with it for now.
I think that's more... the look is more like Kraus is more insulted by what Kirie said.
That's right. After all, we're just fish on the chopping board. There's nothing we can do now. Ha! Though you can insult me with such vigor. I don't dislike that kind of woman, see?
Where are we going? Where are we going? Oh no!
Beatrice was like that too in the beginning.
Master, perhaps we should get back to the main topic. We've been off track for a while now.
Yes, there was that. Sorry, my friend. Well then, back to the main event. For that, I've prepared a phone. Shannon, how clever of you. You don't have to hide it any longer. That's something I arranged for. My throat's getting dry. My apologies.
Shannon quickly withdrew herself and the telephone was revealed.
Kraus, call the grandchildren in the guest house. Tell them of the test, and of the start of my trial.
Runaway motioned for Kraus to pick up the receiver.
And if I say no? And why do you think you're in a position to negotiate? If you don't make the call, then the grandchildren won't even be given a chance. The Yoshiromiya family will end here. And I'll sacrifice you all right away.
He'd be lucky to become sacrifices right away. Don't you think it'd be more painful to watch the children get sacrificed first before your very eyes?
Cap. The master is the one who decides the sacrifice order. Don't say things on your own.
Leah, you just tried to shorten my name, didn't you?
I did not. And I told you not to shorten other people's names on your own. Women truly are.
Noisy.
They're in jail.
Misogyny jail. Alright, where are we going now? The world. Oh, hell yeah, are we getting into that gunfight?
Those who know.
The clinic that Nanjo had opened and later passed on to his son still existed on Nijima. This aged doctor was Nanjo's son, but the atmosphere about him was very different. I was not expecting that face. Nanjo Masayuki, Nanjo's son, inherited the Nanjo Clinic. Unlike Nanjo, he seems to be a more sobered, indifferent person. After the rampage surrounding Rokkenjima, he grew to completely despise the press, and he never spoke again of what happened around that time. He once had a doctor afflicted with an incurable disease, but unfortunately, she wasn't able to live out her natural lifespan. Oh. I'm really sorry
I can voice him since you...
Okay. I was just gonna give him the same voice as Nanjo.
Okay, you can go ahead.
I'm truly sorry to say this after you have come all this way, but I have nothing in particular to tell you. Nanjo's son said that very indifferently. After the accident on that island was taken up by the broadcast in a most indiscreet manner, even my father, who was Mr. Usanomiya's doctor and friend, was focused upon by many with a wholly regrettable interest. All of it was without proof, and they even managed to defile all of my father's previous achievements. I still feel a great deal of resentment because of that. I think that's understandable. The same thing happened to me. I had to put up with it constantly since I was 6. Oh, my apologies. The doctor finally remembered that Anju was also a victim who had been exposed to the same curious eyes as he had been. In that case, you can probably understand why I don't want to have anything to do with that incident. That was an unfortunate accident. The only ones who want to make a fuss about it being a crime are those irresponsible TV shows and magazines. I'm more than fed up with their attitude. Nanjo had been bathed with attention for being one of Usanomiya Kinzo's few friends. Because of that, there was probably an aggressive and persistent rush among the witch hunters and the press to use Nanjo's son as well, a surviving relative, as a source of information. The doctor went on and on, criticizing the press indignantly. I really understand how you feel. For a person like me, who was disturbed even in her personal life, and those in whose privacy, likeness, and even human rights may have been violated, it's really easy to pick up on the anger of someone in your position. And for that very reason, I want to know, more than anything else, what in the world happened in the incident that so thoroughly ruined my life. So I came here. I'm a related party just like you, not a magazine columnist or an interviewer. Please, don't get the wrong idea. I didn't come to do this for fun. Quit looking down on me. If we're gonna argue over whose life was most screwed up by that incident, you're no match for me.
Yeah, Trauma Olympics.
Angie spoke sharply. Hell yeah, and Angie's winning! Bless you. The doctor who hadn't imagined that he would be talked back to in such a...
That was a laugh.
Oh, shit. You talked back into such a forceful manner. Couldn't help but fall silent. From Angie's perspective, the doctor really was whining over nothing. Get its ass. He really didn't want to be looked down upon. It was about time to let him understand how many days had passed for her before arriving on this island. I mean, to be fair, Angie was a kid when it happened, and her entire life has been completely changed by it. He was already an adult. The doctor realized that he'd said something wrong and remained silent for a while, looking uncomfortable. I know it's probably painful to remember what happened at the time, but if there's anything you do know, please tell me no matter what it is. Of course, I'll keep quiet about it. I visit here today to bring some resolution to my life. I'm 18. That incident took away 12 years of my life, and it'll probably keep on taking. Since that day when I was 6 years old, I've remained shut away in darkness. Are you saying that despite that, I still don't have a right to know? No. How rude of me. It seems that since all the others who came were ill-natured folk, I instinctively put up my guard. I apologize for my rudeness. I understand. If you'll swear not to breathe a word of this to anyone, I'll tell you everything.
Thanks, Doctor. Then, if you would, please tell me anything you can.
As you know, my father was not only Mr. Utsunomiya's head physician, but his friend for their game of chess. That relationship was very long, stretching back to the time Mr. Utsunomiya moved to Rokkenjima.
Just how close were they?
Very close, it seems. It seems that their connection through chess led my father to stay at Mr. Utsunomiya's mansion quite often. Although I may not be one to talk, Mr. Utsunomiya was extremely moody. And my father was an exceedingly magnanimous man who excelled at interacting with humans like him.
It really sounds like they're leading into, like, out of context, it sounds like they would be talking about an affair.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hell yeah, I love
Oh,
this.
shit.
I love this,
Old man yaoi.
this polyamorous old man yaoi. Because Genji, too.
It's not hard to imagine that he was a rare friend for the authorized Mr. Utsunomiya.
That day was the day of the family conference. At the Utsunomiya family conference, the inheritance and how it would be distributed were rigorously discussed, making it almost like a financial conference. Which means Dr. Nanjo must have gained a trust so great that he was asked to attend even that, right?
My father was a simple doctor, so I cannot imagine he was in the position to advise on the distribution of wealth for a massively rich family like the Utsunomiya family. He was most likely called there to assist with Mr. Utsunomiya's health because it was not at its best at the time. As Kinzo's close friend, I'm sure my father would have kept his mouth shut, and that he was trusted not to leak the secrets of the family conference.
Wasn't Utsunomiya Kinzo in very bad health at the time? Were there any medical charts left behind?
Perhaps he brought the medical charts with him on the day of the accident. I'm afraid to say that the entire photo of Mr. Utsunomiya's medical charts has been lost. He was my father's patient, so I do not know the details.
Around the time of the incident, did anything strange happen?
Yes, there was one thing. However, it seems exceedingly likely to invite misunderstanding, so I very much do not wish to discuss it.
What is it? Please, tell me. For a while, the doctor beat around the bush. But after saying that much, he wouldn't be able to fool Angie by dodging the subject. He eventually gave in, and after making Angie swear herself to secrecy again, told her.
The truth is, several days after that accident, I received something by mail at my home.
By mail?
It was very curious. The sender was made out to be me, but I had no memory of it. Someone had faked my name and sent it. The destination was Rebon Island in Hokkaido. Excluding the northern territories, it is at the northernmost tip of Japan. Excluding the north part of Japan, it was at the most north part of Japan. The recipient was apparently a resident on Rebon Island, but the name was my father's. However, it seems that there was a problem with the destination address, so it was stamped as address unknown, and returned to the sender, me.
It was truly a strange tale. Nanjo's son's name was written as the sender. However, he said that he hadn't mailed the letter. In short, that meant someone had faked his name and sent it. The destination was Nanjo Terumasa on Hokkaido's Rebon Island. But the lot number written on it didn't exist, so the local post office had been unable to deliver it and instead sent it back to the sender, Nanjo's son. What was inside?
I do ask that you keep silent about this. It is extremely troublesome to me as well. And even so, I cannot throw it away.
The doctor stood up and faced a bookshelf. There was packed a group of dictionaries that could only have been ornamental, meant to make it very clear that the owner was an intellectual. What better way to show off how smart you are by owning a bunch of dictionaries? When he pulled several volumes out from there, a large brown envelope peeked out from behind them. He took that out and tossed it onto the desk. It had been carefully sealed with cellophane tape, and its faded color and dryness made it clear that it had been sealed 12 years ago. I ask most solemnly for your silence on this matter. Being so persistent that it was annoying, the doctor removed the seal with a paper knife. With a paper knife, not what? Then, when he tilted that envelope, an already opened mail envelope spilled out. The envelope had a weight to it, hinting that there was something other than the letter inside. I'm guessing it's the ring. Or does Angie already have that? I forgot whether or not Angie has the ring. But if she doesn't, I'm guessing it's the ring in the letter. The recipient was certainly Nanjo Terumasa. Just seeing that was a huge shock. Following that incident, Nanjo's corpse had not been found, and he had eventually been treated as dead after going missing under extraordinary circumstances. And despite that, this letter addressed to a Nanjo in Hokkaido existed. One can almost take this as a sign that he had faked his own death and escaped to Hokkaido. Was Dr. Nanjo really in Hokkaido? Or else, was there another person with the same first and last names in Hokkaido? If my father had somehow escaped from the accident and lived on in Hokkaido, that would made us of his family very happy, regardless of the circumstances. I also thought of that a possibility at first. However, the envelope's destination address does not exist. In short, this envelope was mailed and had no way of reaching. It could be possible that it was meant for Masayuki, and they did that to just have it be. They gave a fake address so then it would be sent back to him, right?
Maybe.
Is there a possibility that the sender miswrote the correct address? Of course, I cannot deny it. However, judging from the resident's house number, I find that hard to believe. Hokkaido. Rebun Island. Rebun County. Rebun City. Goddamn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, yeah, my theory is correct. Up until Rebun City, it's fine. But I just couldn't wipe away the feeling that the sequential number after it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, was a little insincere. That's fine? The city's fine? Not island, county, and city all being the same name?
Sometimes there are places like that.
I guess. It felt like it was a fake number that some kid had made up. Oh, really? 123 Fake Street. I think this is fake. And probably wrote a nonsense number that clearly didn't exist. I think it's natural to assume that, from the very beginning, this envelope was sent to a non-existent residence to which it had no chance of being delivered. If the destination address doesn't exist, mail is generally returned to the sender. But even in the case of an incomplete address, the local post office will often courteously, and to the best of its ability, research to find whether the sender's intended destination exists. When they still can't find it, the mail is sometimes returned after an investigation of several days. It seemed that the same thing had happened with this envelope, and the stamp was postmarked on October 3rd. It was postmarked on Nijima. Nijima was a long way from Rebun Island. On top of that, the destination was also nonsensical. It had taken more than a week for the mail to be returned. In other words, there's probably a high chance that having the envelope returned to the sender after an unfixed amount of time had been the goal from the very beginning. Why do something like that? Even before asking what it was had been sent, this envelope was already wrapped in mystery. And inside it? Go ahead. After getting the doctor's permission, I tilted the already opened envelope. From the inside came a small folded letter and a small key, with a number plate attached. Then a magnetic card slipped out. A112 was engraved on the key's number plate. I didn't know what it meant. The magnetic card was pitch black and had gold characters engraved in it. Members was written in English. The jet black gold letter card design made it feel like something very high class. But of course I didn't have a clue what kind of card it was just from that. I unfolded the letter. Its contents were extremely brief, and only the following was written. 17151129. Haven't we seen that number before?
Mhm.
Okay, it's a number that they were like theorizing. Oh, it's their birthdays, right?
Mhm.
Okay. Also written was the name of a certain massive bank known throughout Japan, as well as the words Central Branch. That was all. And this is, I think it's very clear what that is. It's like a, what's it called?
Tier inheritance.
I would that, but I was thinking it's the lockboxes banks have.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I'm assuming it's a card, a key, and a pin for a safe deposit box. That's the word,
I
safe
was
deposit
just
box.
yeah.
And it wasn't a normal safe deposit box either. It was an unsettling one, which was apparently reserved only for special clients. After he finished putting his affairs in order following his father's funeral, he had visited the bank. Pin and key and card. There was no doubt that something of great importance was kept there, and he had been naturally curious about what it might be. At first, he hadn't known what to do. The card wasn't something he'd owned in the first place. When he mustered up his courage and showed the card to a bank clerk, he was then switched to a clerk of clearly high status, and was guided to a large vault on the fourth basement. Damn! The security on the way there was strict. The doctor had himself stored valuable items such as real estate transcripts in safe deposit boxes before. Well, this was something on a whole different level. Unlike the procedure at the deposit box I had been using, with this system, as long as you had a card, a pin, and a key, you didn't need to have your identity confirmed. Okay. But anyway, I was frightened how imposing that secure vault was. And I wondered what kind of shady objects might await me that had to be stored in a place like this. And then, when I passed the card through the reader, I was asked to input the PIN. And after that 8-digit number was input and authenticated, I was permitted to access the vault. It was an incredible scene. A world like something from a sci-fi movie. The massive, dimly lit silver room was covered with doors to safes. He had entered that room along with the clerk. It seems that as soon as the card was read, the vaults he had a right to were determined. So that safes he could open were lit with a green light, while those he couldn't open were lit with a red one. A112 was one of those safes that were marked. By the way, there were several other safes marked with a green light besides that one. I think there were at least 20. There might even been more in the other corner. In any event, I only had the key to A112. I had no way of checking the contents of the other safes. As the clerk watched, the doctor had unlocked and opened the safe. When he did, a safe drawer like a large cabinet had opened, and an expensive-looking duralumin case peeked out. That was carried into a separate room where, for the first time, the clerk left, and he was introduced to the contents. And the contents were? Cash. Cash. How much? I have heard that a pack of 1 million yen in fresh banknotes is precisely 1 centimeter thick. Since those were packed tightly into a duralumin case of such a size, there was probably 100 million in total. I don't know because I didn't count. I didn't even touch it with my hands. I realized at once. This was dangerous money. It isn't normal to store a whole 100 million yen in cash in a case in a safe like that. Really? It's much easier to deal with it if you put it into an account and turn it into numbers. When someone is unable to do that, then it's clear that there's something wrong with that cash. My mind went blank, and I instantly realized that I must have been involved. So you didn't use it at all? Correct. I locked it back up just as I found it, returned to the original safe, and left. I thought about throwing away that key and card, but I don't know what will happen. For that reason, I've been hiding in the back of this bookcase for a full 12 years. I still don't know what kind of money that was. Can I borrow this envelope? No. Please just view it here. Understood. Then, if you'll excuse me, there's something I want to investigate. I took One-chan's grimoire from the knapsack I had set down. Then, I opened to the page with the paragraph Beatrice... You're rubbing off on me. Beatrice had written to One-chan and compared the handwriting on both.
If I keep saying it.
There was no mistake about the characteristic handwriting. the one who had sent his 100 million in cash, was Beatrice herself. But what is it? Something's bugging me. What is it? What could it be? Ah!
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I got something like that in the mail. Hey, Ma, where'd you put that?
The same envelope and contents had been sent to Kumasawa's son. Oh! Who had once lived with her. Look at this guy. Oh! He looks like a sweetheart. Kumasawa Sawakichi. Kumasawa's son works at the Nijima fishing harbor. He must have gotten his carefree, big-hearted personality from Kumasawa. Many of Kumasawa's sons are fishermen, so they're often away from, oh, that's why she always makes mackerel jokes. Often away from land for their work. This one happens to be to work as the harbor, so it was only coincidence that I managed to get in touch with him. Kumasawa loved to talk, so I did hope he might have heard her let something slip, but...
maybe the, yeah, maybe there's also just, like, big fishing industry there.
Yeah, well, it is a Japanese island, so... Which is redundant, It's Japan. Also, this music...
Well, it's one of the... Yeah. It's not part of the Japanese mainland, so...
Well, it's still, the Japanese mainland is still an island.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he had been very busy in the day since and seemed to have forgotten about it while running around all over the place. However, its strange contents had apparently stayed in his memory, and he remembered as soon as Angie mentioned it to him. After a bit of a wait, his thin-lipped wife found the envelope, complaining that he always forgot where he put things right away. The modus operandi for the sender and the recipient was the same as Nanjo's son. The sender was made out to be Kumasawa's son, and the recipient was Kumasawa Chiyo. And the destination address was in the Okinawa Prefecture. Okinawa Prefecture, Yaeyama County, Yonaguni City, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yonaguni Island was at the westernmost tip of Japan, and the lot name was the exact same sequential number that had apparently been chosen without much care. Okay. So we got north and then west. And I don't know if this has been brought up, but I do know that in, like, which circles the cardinal directions are very important. So I'm guessing there's going to be 2 more envelopes sent to Goda's relative, and then the orphanage Canon and Shannon are from. With the south and east being the directions left. I'm making that guess. Now it was certain. This envelope was definitely sent with the goal of having it be returned to the sender. Its contents were exactly the same. A letter with the pin and the bank's main branch written on it. A magnetic card, a key with an attached number plate. The inscription on the number plate was A113. The number right after the one on the key that had been sent to Nanjo. Most likely, inside the vault was the same kind of duralumin case, packed with 100 million yen in cash. And 100 million yen, that's what each of the Kinzo's kids wanted, right? Like, that's what Rosa...
Was it?
Like, Rosa Krause...
Oh, was
not
it?
Krause. Rosa, Rudolph,
Okay.
and Ava. I think.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
I don't remember how much
Yeah, me
it was in
neither.
total.
100 million just seems specific. Yes, I know it's a round number, but I feel like we've heard 100 million yen before.
I get the feeling my dead mother sent it to me from beyond the grave. Don't really get what's inside, and it's creepy, so I just left it all alone this time and totally forgot about it until today. So, you know what this is, girl? Could it be that the same kind of thing came to your place?
Huh. What is it, Anji-sama? Voodoo, is it a headache? Sorry, my head hurts. I got it. I know.
What do you mean you know?
You don't mean this envelope came to your place too, Anji-sama! I've remembered. Remembered! A strange envelope was also sent to me 12 years ago. Okay, my guess was wrong. After losing my entire family, I was depressed. But it was a really strange thing to come in the mail, so I still had a faint memory of it.
6-year-old getting a random letter in the mail.
It was a strange letter which I had no memory of sending, but which had me as the sender. Forget the destination address, but the name recipient had been Ushinomiya Rudolph, my father. Remember how disturbed I was when I got a letter. I thought it was from father, opened it up, and found a key and a card that I didn't really understand. Felt let down and threw it away somewhere, I think. Where did I put that envelope? Probably lost it somewhere in the chaos that followed. But now I have no way of checking its contents.
She just lost 100 billion yen.
She's like, fuck!
6-year-old
use that as
Angie just threw away 100 million yen.
Like, she could have used that to fund so much of her shit.
However, I have a
She could
general
have used
idea.
that to move away from
Yeah.
Ava. He's 6 years
Oh.
old.
I'm sure the contents were the same. Without a doubt, there had been a key, a card, and a note with a pin inside the envelope. Beatrice.
Oh, you did it. You got me.
I
What was she
did
trying
it.
to do here? So did she hand out this stupid money to all the surviving relatives? I won't forgive her. For mocking them even after their deaths. Uryu, Angie! Sakataro acted nervously. As I looked at his worrying face, my agitation began to cool off bit by bit. I'm sorry. My hatred of Beatrice isn't anything new. I was just surprised and angry to find out that I had a connection with the witch already. At the age of 6 on that day. For the past 12 years, you've been constantly enslaved by Beatrice-sama's curse. This might be proof of that curse. But please, hang in there. Breaking through that was supposed to be part of the goal of this journey. That's right. Just letting the blood rise to my head won't get me anywhere. Got to think calmly. What's going on? What's the meaning of handing out 100 million yen to the relatives? Is she trying to provoke us? Damn that Beatrice. Angie, calm down. Who do you... As Sakataro buried his head in my stomach, he urged me to stay calm. I took another deep breath and started thinking. I wonder if this envelope was sent to support the theory that Beatrice was behind that crime. It was bookmarked right before the family conference, and it was intentionally set up so that it would be sent back after some time. They wanted to arrive after the incident, is that it? Yeah, that's what it implies. But it raises a few questions. Why use such an uncertain method? Uncertain? Yes. After all, no one could even guess at how many days it would take for the mail to return before you use this trick. Normally, you couldn't even guess at the amount of time it would take for the receiving post office to do their research to determine that the recipient was unknown and return it. Yeah, now that you mention it, it'd be more dependable if they just said an arrival date and mailed it that way. Who knew? Maybe, but still. If they mailed it the day before, then no matter how quickly it returned, it would probably arrive a Monday or later. I wonder if they want to make it seem like a letter from the dead. A letter from the dead, you say? You're right. It surprised me and it made me feel bad. Some mail with my dead family's name written on the outside in large letters. It was thrown into the mailbox with an ominous label attached. However, it doesn't really make sense to me. I would have mailed it to arrive on a specified day. Just can't understand why someone would allow the uncertainty of it arriving on a day other than the one they imagined. Would you? But it really does sound like Beato to me. Huh? You know about Beato? Well, I only talked with her a little. Still, I can pretty much accept that Beato would do something like this. Can you imagine that happening too, Mamon? Beato likes pranks like this, right? Yeah, that might be true. I wouldn't put past Beatrice someone to try a vicious prank like a letter from the dead. No, that's not all. Beatrice would find it more interesting to do it through an uncertain method instead of one that was absolutely certain. She would find an uncertain method interesting. I remembered Maria One-chan's diary. It had described playing with Beatrice very often. During those times, Beto sometimes played pranks on the adult relatives with Maria. But those pranks always had a touch of witch aesthetics, which was that they were more interesting when they were uncertain. One day, Maria One-chan and Beto decided to use a wind-up minicar she had brought for a prank. It was a popular toy at that time, and if you made the minicar back up, it would wind up this... Yeah. Yeah, we know what this is. They had wound up that minicar and set it behind a milk jug. In other words, the prank was that if you lifted the milk jug, the minicar would jump forwards and surprise whoever did it. Hoping that someone would get caught in this prank, One-chan and Beto had watched the adults from the shadows for their whole tea time. They were looking forward to seeing someone get caught by it, but no one moved the milk jug, and the trap ended in a misfire. When One-chan had then muttered, "We should have put it somewhere where it would have definitely caught someone," Beto had apparently said this.
The most interesting and thrilling traps are those where you don't know who'll get caught, or even if anyone will get caught at all.
It's probably true that you wouldn't get this kind of excitement from a trap that would certainly go off. Similar accounts occurred in multiple places, making it impossible to guess that the witch called Beatrice had a fickle character and loved a random thrill. A fickle person is very hard to deal with. I can't spin the chessboard around to find out what that witch from 12 years ago was planning. As Angie examined these, her gaze darted from place to place. Then, she suddenly showed interest in the wall. There, several framed pictures were hung. Many of them were commemorative photos from when the relatives of the Kumasawa family gathered or went somewhere to play, and Kumasawa was in several. And she still wore a smile that made so you can almost hear her lighthearted ho-ho-ho laugh. It's part of my distant memory, but I definitely remember that she was this sort of cheerful old lady. You notice anything different about Kumasawa-san in the days leading up to the incident?
Nope. She looked the same as ever. The family conference put her on edge, so she was always grumbling about how tough it was.
Huh? What's this? Among the several frames, there was one that had something other than a picture of people in it. It was a picture of an enlarged relief of a door from a Western-style house or something. You couldn't see any interesting subject in particular, which actually bugged me a bit as I wondered why anyone had gone to all the trouble of taking it. As I got closer, I realized that some characters had been written with a pen.
Oh yeah, that's a photo I got when Mother's belongings were distributed. I think it probably has something to do with that Legend of the Gold thing.
The witch's epitaph, you mean? It was whispered that it pointed out the location of the hidden 10 tons of gold. So, Kumasawa-san tried to solve it too. But this isn't the epitaph. The first time I've seen it. There was an arch above the Western-style door, and that's where the relief was. English words were engraved there, and that seemed to be what the picture was focused on. The pen writing appeared to be a translation into Japanese. This door is opened only at a probability of a quadrillion to 1. You will be blessed only at a probability of a quadrillion to 1. I don't recognize it. Nothing like this ever showed up in the epitaph or in Nei-chan's diary.
In Mother's belonging, there were quite a few photos and notes that looked like her trying to solve the riddle of the epitaph. Mother was actually surprisingly fond of that kind of thing. I mean, there was that rumor that 10 tons of gold bars were hidden somewhere. It's no surprise she got so absorbed by it.
In both Maria One-chan's diary and in her grimoire, there was a description of the witch's epitaph. It had talked about how it was a ceremony to open the door to the Golden Land, Beatrice's resurrection ceremony, Beatrice's succession ceremony. On and on. Maybe the most interesting one was the last part, about being a succession ceremony. According to Beatrice, if you're able to solve the witch's epitaph, you would receive not only the 10 tons of gold and the Ushinomiya family inheritance, but her own magical power and name, as well as the title of Golden Witch. Among the Ushinomiya family household at the time, the witch's epitaph was thought of as a difficult quiz, which the family head, Kinto, had arranged for to choose his successor. But with the mariage sorcier interpretation, the questioner was Beatrice herself, and she had posed the question in part to choose her successor. There were slight discrepancies in the detail of the two interpretations. Either way, its ominous contents brought to mind a bloody serial murder, and both of the message bottles drew a tale of a crime following that pattern. If I could solve the witch's epitaph now, 12 years later, I wonder if I could expose some plot made back then. I tried to solve it many times myself, but I never did have a clue what it meant. It seemed that many witch hunters tried as well. I also found theories like the La Plata theory and the Enora theory in certain books. What the fuck are those? However, neither of these theories were conclusive. Are there any other materials?
I think so, but they were all split up between my siblings. I don't have a clue who has what. Sorry.
Just reading this English text that Kumasawa-san took a picture of, it gives me the impression that it was a forbidden door that was rarely opened. Where in the mansion is it, I wonder? Judging by the lightning, it looks like it's outside. I wonder if Kumasawa-san thought that the gold might be hidden in there.
Who knows? Either way, I do wonder where in Rokkenjima mansion it was. In the Rokkenjima mansion was. I hate to say it, but there wasn't enough money in Mother's bank account to make me think she found the gold. She probably didn't find it after all.
The Golden Witch Beatrice gave 10 tons of gold to Kinzo, which meant that the witch was the true owner of the gold. Beatrice was the owner of all the vast fortune of the Uchinomiya family. The witch holding this vast wealth had massacred the humans on Rokkenjima on that day, sending large amounts of money to the surviving relatives like it was a game. Like hell, it's a letter from the dead. Or like hell, it's a letter from the dead. This is the desecration of the dead. I was once again convinced. When my family died on that island that day, they didn't go to heaven. They're being trapped by the witch even now, and are being desecrated and tormented for all eternity. The last place Angie visited was a store in the region between the housing district and the retail stores, with a signboard saying, Marufuku Sleep Shop. Why do I know that name? There lived the man who had been the boat cabin of the ferry boat to Rokkenjima at the time. Okay, that's probably why. Even he, who had once lived as a man of the sea, had retired after contracting a serious illness, and was now taken care of at the house of his son and his son's wife. Alright. What do you gotta say, man? Captain Kawabata, an old man who used to be a captain of a high-speed boat that went to and from Rokkenjima. At least among those still alive, he's certainly the person most familiar with matters concerning Rokkenjima. The media hoped he might have learned details of the situation inside the Uchinomiya family from various discussions with servants going to and from the island. However, he never said anything, so they eventually began to forget this old man.
I remember
Voice him
it
too?
very well.
Yeah, I'll voice him too.
Okay.
I already had a voice and everything.
I remember it very well. You still about this small. Look how you've grown. And it must have been very tough on you. I know very well how you must feel.
The former boat captain was in such high spirits that you couldn't really tell why he had retired in the first place. His memories seemed clear too, and he could remember the events of more than a decade ago, apparently even about how Angie had been at the time. The way he chatted on was very helpful for Angie, but at the same time, he also remembered the final family conference very well, and the fact that he remembered even details like Battler's fall madness on the boat was actually painful for her. It had been so back then as well, but even now there was no public way to cross Rokkenjima. It was necessary to make an individual request to an owner of a boat to make the voyage. I've been unable to arrange for a boat to Rokkenjima, so if he refused me, such a voyage would probably become hopeless.
I get you. It won't be easy to find a boat either to go to that island. By now, there are even some call it by its old name, Akujikishima, instead of Rokkenjima. It's understandable why the soldiers around here would turn down your request.
From the start, fishermen had feared Rokkenjima as an island of misfortune. And because of that incident 12 years ago, this fear had reached a peak. They respected the sea, feared it, and revered it. There were almost no sailors who would try to take a boat to the cursed island. Because of that, most of the witch hunters were unable to cross over to Rokkenjima, and were limited to taking a trip around the island. Ironically, this had caused the sense of mystery surrounding Rokkenjima to increase even more, which had resulted in the propagation of the bizarre witch stories they loved so much. Would you take me in your boat?
Yep. They're supposed to give it back to me just for tomorrow. Though it seems its engine has been in a pretty bad mood lately. I'll knock it into shape.
The former boat captain promised that tomorrow he will go back to his previous job and take his boat out to Rokkenjima. This guy rules! Now my method of transport to Rokkenjima is insured. This is probably all I can do on Nijima. All that's left is tomorrow. On Rokkenjima, I'll reach the final destination of a journey that stretches back 12 years. Isn't that great? This way, it looks like you'll be able to go to the island. It sure does. This is such a cute sprite of her. I'd heard that it would be hard to find a boat, so the boat captain's helpfulness really saved me. Although it may not be the same as it was for you, Anji-sama. I'm sure the incident 12 years ago had been a thorn for the boat captain as well, one that he still hasn't been able to pull out. Even the boat captain wasn't able to sort out his feelings this whole time. That's probably true. If that guy had taken his boat out on October 5th as promised, there's a chance that he could have saved a lot of people. If he had been hesitant to go out just because of a little wind. Udu, you shouldn't say things like that. I'm sure that's pained the boat captain constantly until today. Apparently, they truly had been right in the middle of a typhoon on October 5th. According to the boat captain, he had known for certain that they'd be trapped by the typhoon if they headed to Rokkenjima on October 4th. But the family had been very persistent about the date of their conference, which had been determined beforehand. It was only natural. All the relatives had been very busy at the time, and they came to the family conference only after arranging their schedules beforehand. It was probably a situation where they couldn't easily push it back to the next week just because the typhoon was approaching. It wasn't the boat captain's fault. Perhaps you could say that he wasn't so irresponsible that he could place the blame wholly on the typhoon. Certainly, just as these two said, there's no doubt that the boat captain had been dragging the events of 12 years ago along with him this whole time. And, by taking me, the last member of the Ushiromiya line, to the island, and bringing me back safely, he might be trying to find some resolution for his past.
The boat's supposed to return just after noon. I'll guide you to Rokkenjima after that, so we should arrive before evening. It's an island without electricity or lights. You won't be able to stay long. Will you be satisfied with the landing that short?
There's nothing that would make me more satisfied by staying longer. I'm grateful just to have you take me there.
Yep, don't mention it. If I hadn't parted with my boat, I'd be able to guide you to the island as much as you like without being stingy.
It's not like I have a goal of doing something in particular on Rokkenjima, so I'll be there during the evening. The evening which straddles the two different worlds of day and night, themed almost like a borderline between this world and the next. Or possibly 1998 and 1986. And it felt like the most fitting time to visit Rokkenjima. Not like I have anything in particular to do there. Just staying there for a few hours should be enough for me to find some closure. At that time, there was a small mark on the paper sliding door, and Amakusa stuck his head in, tapping his watch. I nodded back and told him about how I succeeded in reserving a boat for tomorrow.
That's great. It's about time for us to go. We'll be counting on you tomorrow, Captain. Sir, leave it to me. I've heard all about what you guys gone through. I also watched the talk shows at the time and was disgusted by the people who stirred up that incident just for fun. I'll help out any way I can.
Thank you very much. Then, we'll see you noon tomorrow. Here. The fare for the boat. And she took a wrapped wad of 10,000 yen bills from her pocket. The boat captain should have noticed his sickness as well, but he paid absolutely no interest and shook his head.
I'm grateful to you. This is a sign from the heavens. I've been given a final chance to take you to Rokkenjima and bring you back safely. Now I'll finally be able to finish the final job Kinzo-san entrusted me with. So I'm grateful to you. I got more than enough money from Kinzo-san back then. I can't accept yours.
Thank you very much. I want to end it just after this scene, but the scene just keeps going.
Watch your step on the stairs. It's steep.
What's about to happen? I went down the steep staircase that was the exact opposite of accessible. It was getting hard to believe that there was actually a chest of drawers and a TV in the room upstairs. Most of the first floor was a bedding store, with many futons piled on top of each other. We weaved our way through the Count Futon shop. What's about to happen? After cautiously checking around outside, Amakusa dashed out first and started up the car. My grandchild's room is empty. I really wouldn't mind if you stayed there. And see, we got plenty of extra futons. Thanks a lot for the offer. But this way, even if the unexpected happens, you won't be bothered. I don't know the details, but it seems you've been caught up in a lot of trouble. There's a rumor that some suspicious people are searching for someone. That wouldn't happen to be you, would it? Who knows? And she played dumb, but it looked as though the boat captain had guessed. My job is to take guests to Rokkenjima and bring them back again. That job was put on hold 12 years ago, and it still hasn't ended. So, thanks to you, I'll finally be able to finish it. So listen, let me finish this job, okay? Do you understand me? Yeah. It's not like I'm going there to die. But part of me does feel that if I could die on that island, I'd surely be able to go where my family is. I've finally become aware of it. I might have been planning to die on that island. I might have come all this way, heading towards Rokkenjima, in search of a place to die. The boat captain had guessed that as well. And that's why he repeatedly told me not to die. Yeah, I won't die. I promise. After all, I'm still not sure if there's any reason why I need to go to Rokkenjima. No, I'm sure there's a reason. Even if there isn't one for you, there is one for them. The island called you. That's why you came here. That might be true. I might have been called. I was called. For what reason? For them. Father, mother, Battler on Nichan, and Maria on Nachan. Or maybe the Golden Witch, Beatrice. What is on Rokkenjima? And what will I achieve? Even though tomorrow is finally almost here, I still haven't been able to understand my own mission. There was the sound of a car stopping in front of the store, and a short honk could be heard. Then I'll see you tomorrow, if you'll excuse me. Yep. Winding between the stacks of futons in the cramped store, I was about to go outside. Then my feet stopped. What is it? What is that? That? What? What are you talking about? Trembling all over, I pointed at it. Are we about to go into Silent Hill? What the fuck? But no matter how much the bookcam squinted, he noticed absolutely nothing in that direction that should have surprised me. That must mean... Impossible! Why? Who do you... Angie? What is it to me? What's going on here? I don't have a clue either. No way something that ridiculous. This magic? A miracle? Yes, this is probably fate. Now, I understand. This was my mission. Who do you... I don't have a clue, what? Shaking, I pointed into the thin darkness inside the store and froze up. What is it? You see something there, don't you? I don't see anything. What is it you see? Thank you, Captain. Everything was fate. Even me visiting this place was fate. This is mission and the purpose that I'm going to Rokkenjima for. Angie-san, what is it? Is something wrong? I don't have a clue either. This girl just froze up while pointing into the darkness. Angie-san, are you okay? You need to see. Can't you two see it? It's that, right there. Can't you see it? I can see it's a normal display case. There's no one there, right? Who do you... Angie? I don't know what's going on. I don't know either. Is this a dream?
Magic? What is it? Angie! Sakataro lifted his face towards Angie. From his eyes slid a single tear. Is it fucking Sakutaro? Angie-sama. I understand. Hane-chan. And Beatrice. You? This is magic, isn't it? What the fuck? Are they not gonna tell us what's in the goddamn display case?
You want me to tell you?
It's a spoiler because they're definitely gonna bring it up at some point. Whatever it was, shocked Mammon, Sakutaro, and Angie so bad. I'm guessing it's Sakutaro. I'm just guessing it's somehow Sakutaro, like the stuffed animal there. Something that would, like, look normal to anyone else, like that would be in a display case. A little stuffed animal.
Good guess.
I love it whenever I make, like, a guess of what's to happen. You know I don't like spoilers, so I was like, that's good. Alright. Thank you so much for joining us on another episode of Umineko. It got really intense there at the end, and I'm kind of pissed that it didn't tell us what the fuck was in the display case. I hope you'll join us next time. Bye for now.